Yeah, so just to rehash, this morning about 2 a.m. we had a power outage at the airport, and this particular outage impacted many parts of the terminal and many of our operations, including our TSA security apparatus. So we were not able to process outbound passengers from a security perspective this morning. So many of our passengers were either bused or found additional ways or were impacted, obviously, with their morning flights this morning. So we anticipate kind of the latest is there was a part, a power apparatus, a part that was a causal factor. This part has been located, and we anticipate the part to be here in Augusta probably within the next hour and a half or so. And once we get the part, it worst case scenario is about a 2-hour installation and reboot of all the systems. So we're hoping that we can have the airport up and operational early this afternoon.
And what is that part that y'all are needing?
Yeah, so the part that failed this morning was an electrical breaker. So that's the part that we had to acquire and that we're going to put in place.
Okay. Were there any other issues with it prior to today?
No, there was not. This is a mechanical part that just to the normal use failed.
What should passengers do that have flights out of Augusta today in American or Delta?
Yeah, so we're encouraging people to several ways. First of all, to check the airport's website and also social media. So we're updating passengers as to the status of the airport. Always call the airlines and understand if there's any particular cancellations. We have been informed by American Airlines that they've canceled for the day here out of Augusta, but there's we will likely see some Delta activity later on this afternoon.
So there'll be no incoming or outgoing for American today at this airport?
Correct. That's what I was just informed by American management.
So we know you updated people around 7 o'clock this morning via Twitter that not to come to the airport. However, were there any other updates prior to that?
Prior to 7 this morning?
Yes.
No, there was not.
Will people who purchase flights be getting refunds for the flights that will not be going in and out today?
Well, they'll have to, again, work with the airlines regarding that.
And coming in, I saw a bus there, people being transported to Atlanta and Charlotte. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, this morning, the airline, specifically Delta, did provide some bus transportation for people. So a lot of people they were able to get to Atlanta and catch their connecting flights.
What's your estimation on how many passengers and how many flights were affected by today's outage?
Okay, and again, this is just an estimate, but typically normally we have about between arrivals and departures, about 14 or so a day, 14 or 15 a day here out of Augusta. And again, this is ongoing, so we don't really know the totality as of yet, but it's probably 2 or 3 flights at this point. And again, just depending on what time the operation resumes, it could increase.
How do you guys plan to ensure this doesn't happen again?
I think we do a good job of general oversight and maintenance. This is just one of those. Sometimes you have those things that just happen, and this is just one of those unforeseen things that happen. But we are going to, as a staff, kind of do what I call kind of an after-action review and just look at everything, including proactive, preventive things as well as reactive. And look at how we responded to this incident.
And so just to go back to it, this was the breaker you're saying that broke?
Yes, it was. It failed, an electrical breaker.
And you said this was just normal kind of wear and tear. How often do you inspect it to see if it's functioning properly?
I'm not sure of the exact inspection cycle, but it's an item that they do look at on a regular basis.
So what type of generators do you have, since we have some light here, but some of the areas at the airport don't have power? Can you talk a little bit about that aspect?
Yeah, and again, I'm not being an electrician, but there are certain electrical panels that are run off of certain feeds, and again, the areas that were impacted today came from the feed that came from this particular breaker, and there is some additional power generation that's emergency power generation that is used as well during certain times.
This is obviously frustrating for people coming in this morning, early today, and still here. What's your message to passengers here today who are frustrated, and to those who might be looking at this and saying, "Ooh, you know, this was kind of a lot to say"?
Yeah, we really care a lot about the customer experience at the airport. It's something that I personally have been focused on. These are the types of things, unfortunately, that happen from time to time, and I hate it happen. I wish I could reverse it, but I've been very focused today on trying to be proactive with communication and trying to work with the airlines and trying to work with the TSA to make sure that that we communicate as a team. And also, we're working very diligently to get this, to get everything back up and operational. So we've been very focused on trying to get it up and operational. But this is not reflective of our airport. It's just one of those things that happens, and we apologize for that.
For the I know Delta, I know you're saying you need to call your specific airlines when it comes to refunds for flights and those sort of things. What about those folks that are getting rental cars to drive to their connecting, or if they're getting a hotel for the night or for the day? Will you guys be handing out vouchers or anything to compensate them for that extra expense?
We typically do not, and we'll, again, not commenting on particular reimbursements, but I mean, as far as any customer issues, we'll handle those case by case as we receive them.
And then for those that, I know for a couple of American flights, they were saying they got rescheduled for 6 p.m. tonight. Are you confident that you all will have it back up and running in time for them to make those flights today?
I was just communicated by American, their interim station manager,
right,
that their flights were canceled.
What about
for
Delta
today.
flights? Do you expect to have it by this afternoon if the power back on?
If the power goes back on, I'm assuming that Delta will continue to operate. It's been communicated to me that we will have some inbound Delta flights, so we will receive some passengers inbound on Delta today. And once we get the power restored and the security apparatus back up, my assumption is that they will resume their normal operation late in the day today.
But essentially, people just need to continue to check the website.
Yes,
for updates.
I mean, that's the most important message that we can put out for people to check the website and to check with the airline. We don't want people to come out to the airport and get stranded. We would prefer for them to be more proactive or versus getting to the airport and getting stranded.
But you expect to be fully up and running by tonight and then tomorrow?
We do, unless there's some unanticipated issue, but we do expect to be operational sometime early this afternoon. We also plan to have a subsequent either a media opportunity, or we'll push out something to the media about 3 o'clock today with an update.
Is there anything that you want to say just to wrap up, or give anybody watching any more information?
Again, we are, this is unfortunate, but we are, as mentioned earlier, we're working with all of our partners and with staff to communicate to people and to accommodate the best we can, and that's it.